Good morning and welcome to draw number 6 of the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Women's Playdown. We're draw 6, almost to the end of our event round robin. This morning we're looking at teams Pinkney versus Team Jones. Team Jones will be throwing the blue stones, Team Pinkney throwing the yellow. I'm Karen Skivington. Joining me this morning is Nancy McConnery. Good morning, Nancy. How do you see these two teams facing off today?
It should be a really good match. They're both veteran skips. Colleen Pinkney has a very nice junior team, and well, everybody knows Colleen Jones' record, so we don't really have to talk about how well she's probably going to perform.
Yes, as you said, very well matched. Both teams coming into this event at 2 and 3, so kind of a do or die game for them, don't you think, Nancy?
Yes, most of the teams here that are at a 2 and 3 record, they cannot afford to lose one more game. They will all be looking for a couple of teams that are on the upper half of the standings to lose a game. They're going to need some help.
All right, let's take a look at this blue stone team. You'll see Nancy Delahunt in the hack, ready to throw first stones. We'll be followed up by Mary Sue Rafford. Colleen Jones will be throwing third stones, and Kim Kelly throwing fourth stones. So a non-traditional lineup for this team. How does a non-traditional lineup work for most teams? You've got some experience at this level, Nancy.
Yeah, it does work for some teams. It's nice to have a skip in there that knows basically what to call and how their team members throw their rocks. It takes a little more time, so they have to keep a little more eye on their time clocks to make sure they don't start running out of time. But it's whatever seems to work well for your team, that's the way you've got to put your lineup in it.
Of course, taking a look at Yellowstone, Team Pinkney, again with a slightly non-traditional lineup. Pinkney calling the game but throwing first stones, followed by Caitlin Vish, Bridget McPhail, and Mary Driscoll throwing fourth stones. So we'll take a quick look at the styles of play. Do you expect the first few ends to be a little differently played than perhaps later ends, Nancy?
It's hard to say. Lately, most teams really like to really start and get right at it. They've had their warm-up, so they know their draw weight, and they're just ready to go. So the ice seems to be curling not too bad. And I think they're going to, try and put it to each other and try and get some rocks in play.
Yeah, I see that a lot in the last few days as we've worked through the event. A lot of teams going hard real early now. Theory being perhaps they can get a lead and maybe just have an easier second half.
Well, usually the first half of the game, the ice is running a little more true. As the ends get closer to like 8, 9, 10, sometimes the ice tends to tighten up a bit, so the draw is a little bit starting to change. So they like to try and get their points early and then try to defend their lead.
Great point on the ice there, Nancy. Here I'm thinking they just want to lead and have an early day.
That doesn't always work. Sometimes it's really tough to defend the lead because you've got to try to keep it clean, and the other team, all they're caring about is trying to steal some points, so they're just trying to get rocks in play, and sometimes it's hard to get rid of all the rocks, but it makes the game more interesting.
Yes, we'd like to see rocks in play, so we're not just standing here trying to find stories all morning. So
that's right. Yeah, they're out to a good start with 4 rocks out front.
So going across the sheets here, on sheet B, we have Team Brothers playing against Team McAvoy. Over on sheet D, we have Team Arsenault versus Team La Douceur, and that is on our other web stream link. So if you're flipping between the two, you'll catch Dan and Pam over there. And on sheet E, we have Team Breen versus McDermott, and we'll keep you updated on the scores as the games progress. So just not quite getting the finish that we're looking for yet, Nancy?
Just a little light, I guess. It seems to actually look like they're getting a little more curl this morning than they have been. That one did over curl. but could have been just because she was a little on the light side. All these young players have all been to previous provincial championships, and they've all got very nice deliveries.
So good for the skip to take a read off them early.
Very easy to take a read, which is very important.
So would you expect the ice to change today? We've got some weather rolling in.
It's quite warm outside today, so it's going to the humidity is probably going to be a little bit higher, so it might be a little stickier today.
Very nice draw here by Mary Sue.
It's coming in with a nice finish.
Still a little open if I see the angles right from up here.
Yes, just a little bit. Enough to get a nice little hit and roll.
So we have Caitlin Vish throwing second stones for Team Pinkney.
Sweepers are working hard and just tick.
Although I think if you have little incidents like that, early ends are a good time to get the feel for it. You get time to recover.
Yes, 10 ends is a long game, so it's if you get down a little bit early, you've got a lot of ends to try to catch up.
With these teams now in a sort of a do or die scenario, would you see perhaps a little bit more aggressive play from some of these ladies, or are they pretty much set in their game plan?
I would say most of them are probably set on their game plan. Most teams do play a little more aggressive now with more rocks in play. So I think they'll probably still keep playing aggressive, I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Do what we know. And
yeah.
So another nice draw by Mary Sue here. Opportunity for Colleen perhaps to clear both of them.
Yes, it looks like they're set up for nose hit double. Even if they could cross the face a little bit, they may be able to get a little roll behind their corner guards.
So we've had some discussion over the week with different commentators. We've had sometimes what appears to be a good shot could also be a benefit to the opposition, and vice versa. If it looks like they made a great shot, but depending on where they roll, it may not be to their benefit. So as we work through these games, we'll try to educate each other on how we would play the game. I'm sure you and I would play completely different.
This one looks like a really nice shot here.
Oh, and gets a nice little roll, but still pretty much all open.
I guess it needed to curl up just a hair more.
So Team Pinkney sitting one on the forefoot. So a lot of team discussion out there.
Yeah, the Jones team will have to be careful not to hit it on the center line side because they would like to try to avoid the jam on the blue at the back. So they're trying to cross the face of the yellow to get a little bit of a roll in behind their corner guards.
So a little bit more gentle.
Yes. I've noticed lately that on the ice, especially in the men's game last night, that everybody seems to be throwing the control, backline, hack, board weight.
It's a little more finesse.
A little more finesse, just because there doesn't seem to be as much curl as soon as you up the weight a little bit.
And you say there's not as much curl?
Oops.
Didn't get any finish on that one.
No.
Opportunity here for Pinkney to lock that in and perhaps try for a steal.
Yes, they are in good position for a steal if they can get a nice little rock in here with that the double blue guard on the right, making it a little more difficult to try to advance one of those blue stones into to take out the yellow rock on the forefoot.
Yeah, the way those two blue are staggered, it'd be very difficult.
That's right.
Bridget McPhail, third for Colleen Pinkney. So sweepers aren't touching it at all. So we seem to notice sometimes perhaps maybe not curling as much towards center as away.
It seems to be, you really have to have sweeping weight in order for the rock to curl. But that turned out to be a fine shot.
Yeah, very nice. Even though it kind of teases you, it's still difficult to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching the communication with these teams. Everybody making sure all four people, not just the thrower, knows what's going on.
Yes, communication is very important in the curling game. The person in the house needs to know what the weight is, and the sweepers need to communicate the weight of the rock to the person in the house so that they know when to start sweeping. If the rock is a little bit heavy, they'll know they don't need to start sweeping because it won't curl as quickly. Whereas if the rock's moving a little slower, then you're going to get a little more curl out of the rock.
So Colleen Jones just catches the top one and rolls over to the edge. We're not quite sure if that's biting. Sometimes those are really close to tell, especially as we're looking at camera angles and overheads. We're not quite in the moment, as they say, but we see a little bit of white. So I would expect Colleen's probably just going to try to replace that. Mary Driscoll throwing fourth stones for Colleen Pinkney's team.
The rock is just starting to make its curl now. Looks like it's going to be a nice shot.
Looks like we're going to get it right in that Deloitte logo. Pretty close.
Yeah, nice shot.
So I guess, Nancy, when you're calling a shot, you want to try to make sure you leave the most difficult shot for the opposition that you possibly can.
That's correct, yes.
So sometimes it's giving them a path they haven't played yet or a turn they're not comfortable with. So do you scout out teams ahead of time, maybe try to find their weaknesses?
Yes, that's usually the job of the fifth or the coach to find out like if somebody has a weak out turn or a weak in turn, which ones they throw better or worse. And if you can, try and set the house up for if somebody's, say, drifting an out turn, then you try and set up so that your shots are giving the opposition out turns.
So Kim Kelly throwing 4 stones here with the Team Jones.
At this level, though, there's not a lot of discrepancy with throwers. They're all usually very, very good throwers.
Many hours put in.
Correct. That's one thing that does need to be done. You got to practice, practice, practice.
Uh-huh. You put the time in, you get the results, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's not only on the curling rink. The new theory is now you've got to hit the gym and keep your physical fitness up as well.
Yeah, I think there's one team, I even think I saw a sports psychologist here with them. So.
Right, yes. Another important part, because the game does get very stressful. It's a long 2.5 hours.
And then we add in how long the event actually is, so a lot of fatigue probably starting to sit in with some of these ladies now.
Yes, especially now that the week is, well, they've just got 2 games left. It's been a long week.
We kind of compare it to a little bit of a stepping stone. A lot of their events that they would play leading up to this would be probably 3, maybe 4 days long. Here we're probably almost 7 days if we include the pre-event practice and stuff that they did on Monday. But then, of course, if they qualify and go to nationals, you're looking at almost a 10-day event.
That's correct, yeah. This event is run in preparation for the team that will be going to the nationals. So they want to try and mimic the situations that you're going to have while you're at the national Scottie.
So Kim Kelly going to attempt a run back here from the looks of things. Team Pinkney sitting 2. So good force here by Team Pinkney to try to get Team Jones to score just 1.
Yes, that would be you always want to either try and steal, obviously, or hold the opposition to 1 point.
So we haven't been out on this side yet, this end, very much. So.
No, this one doesn't appear to be curling.
She may get off that other yellow, perhaps? No. So it'll be a steal of 2 by Team Pinkney. So we'll go into the second end. Pinkney 2. Jones still waiting for a score, but they'll retain hammer. So as we said, we'll try to keep you updated on what's going on the other sheets. Right now, the only score currently posted is over on sheet D. Team Arsenault scored 4 in the first, so they're up 4-0 against La Douceur. That's not quite a surprise based on the standings right now.
No, but it's always an upset for the team that got it scored against. It's going to be a long comeback for La Douceur, but they're a fighting team. They'll hopefully get it together and get a few points up against Arsenault.
As you said earlier, it's a long game, so lots of opportunity to come back from that.
Yeah, they're both at different spectrums of the game as well, with Arsenault being a veteran and her whole team, and La Douceur is just the junior level, working their way up and getting their experience for the first time here at the provincial Scotties.
Yeah, great opportunity for them. So as soon as we get some scores from the sheets B, Brothers and McAvoy, and sheets E, Breen and McDermott will update you. Coming back here, so Team Pinkney ready to begin the second end. So would you expect very similar play this end, Nancy?
I think Colleen Jones' teams may be starting to get a little more aggressive. They're being down 2, so you'll probably see some corner guards starting to go up for the Jones team. Whereas Colleen Pinkney will probably be throwing her first rocks in and then trying to guard to steal again.
So, of course, by trying to steal, you may force your opponent to 1. That's
correct. Colleen Pinkney will have to be careful, though, because sometimes when you're the other team is trying to put all rocks in play, you can't leave too many in the house, otherwise they can pick up a big end as well.
So Team Jones electing to remove this stone. So maybe we'll have a little bit of a quicker end this end.
Yes, that was a surprise actually. I would have, since it wasn't in the 4-foot, I would have assumed they would have put up a corner guard, but I guess they're just not ready.
Maybe get a feel for the ice and
save some time, maybe for bank some time on their time clock.
So in the hack for Team Pinkney right now is our skip or caller of the game, Colleen Pinkney, no stranger to competition, 60 years of age, 35 years curling experience. She's a retired correctional service is Canada employee. She's been to a Nova Scotia provincial 9 times, Canadian championship 4 times. She's won bronze once. She's won a world gold, I believe, in seniors in 2010. And let's see, what else has she got here? Proud mother of Daniel and Sarah and grandmother of Riley and Carter. Loves friends, family, golfing, and cycling. So very clean end so far.
I suspect they're putting up a corner guard now that there's no rocks in play.
Very nice guard there. So tell us a little bit about the free guard zone. Sometimes we see people hitting early, and perhaps some of our viewers that tune in.
Well, the free guard zone it's with 4 rocks. It includes all of the white area around the house. And if one of the first 4 rocks in the free guard zone, you cannot hit them out of play. So they have to stay in play at some point or other. Once the 5th rock is thrown down the ice, then you're allowed to remove that rock from any of the rocks in the free guard zone.
So this creates an opportunity perhaps for a team that's behind maybe to...
Yes, it was actually a really good addition. The free rock zone game came into effect in 1994, I believe, was the first year that they implemented the free guard zone, and it has made the game actually quite a bit more exciting, because you can't just whack all the rocks out of play. If your rock is out front, you cannot hit it, so you're going to get a lot more games or a lot more rocks in play, and you're not going to have a 1-0 game like they used to have.
If you win the coin toss, you just blank till the end, right?
That's right.
So taking a look here now at Caitlin Vish, throwing second stones for Team Pinkney. She's 26 years of age. She's curled for 17 years, so quite young when she started. She's been to a CIS National. She's New Brunswick Scotties and Nova Scotia Scotties participant. She's on the board for Affordable Housing Association of Nova Scotia. She's a certified yoga instructor and has been living here in Nova Scotia for about 8 years. She came to attend Dell and fell in love with us, and she's been here ever since.
Who doesn't like Nova Scotia? It's a great place to live.
And we were saying in one of the broadcasts yesterday how many New Brunswickers are down here nowadays. So, of course, myself being from New Brunswick, I have to be on that bandwagon, I guess.
That's right. I'm originally from Ottawa, and I definitely love Nova Scotia.
So Team Jones trying to use any guard they can right now.
A nice come around.
Think she can see enough of it, or will you need to run yours back?
She can see a little bit of it. With the ice not curling a huge amount, if they just have the hack weight, they should be able to stick around as well as eliminate the rock.
We notice a lot of movement in the rings. Can you perhaps give us a little insight on the stones, perhaps, maybe how they move around?
Yeah. Well, the rocks are.
So we're using the provincial stones here.
Yeah.
So they may react a little differently than perhaps the club rocks. Oops. I'm going to stick around.
Just roll it. Just roll it.
Yeah. Seems like it doesn't take much to.
No, they seem to be pretty active,
yeah.
The rocks, but yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem, you don't need very much to hit and roll out or.
No, and I think that's why they're usually trying to bring their weight down a bit. And plus, the rocks do seem to run a little straighter with up weight. So,
so Colleen trying to make the come around here.
It's very sensitive to weight. It seems that the rock is curling a little bit more when it requires you to sweep it. But this rock is taking its time, not curl. It's doing all its curling as it's slowing down.
And I think Colleen Jones may have a little bit more rotation on her stone, perhaps, than some of them, after her years of experience.
Mm-hmm. If you don't throw enough rotation, it's quite possible that your rock could lose the handle or even grab a pebble, which is the surface that the rocks are sliding on, and it could cause the rock to technically pick. Even though it's not hitting anything, if you don't throw a good rotation on your rock, your handle you could lose the handle, and then the rock could just go off in another direction.
Taking a look at Bridget McPhail from Team Pinkney, 30 years of age, started curling at the age of 8, medical and acupuncture provider, 2007 New Brunswick Junior champion, another New Brunswicker. She's skipped 5 consecutive New Brunswick Junior provincials, so a lot of experience there. Mm-hmm. Took a 4-year break from curling while obtaining her Doctor of Chiropractic, and has recently returned and believes that the Nova Scotia top curlers are a treat for her to play with. So after Bridget's throw, Team Pinkney lying 1.
Yes, it was a nice freeze by Bridget. Followed up by another nice freeze by Colleen.
So opportunity here just to keep stacking one on top of another. Or would you want to be a little higher?
No, I think they'd like to come in. If they could get in around, and because they don't want to leave one open for Kim Kelly to hit out and stick around for her too. So they'll want to either tap that one back a little bit or just freeze down to it.
Sweeping hard here, Bridget and Caitlin. Getting a little bit more movement out of this one. As you said, Nancy, if you throw the weight right to, almost to give it to the sweepers.
Give it to the sweepers and it'll finish hard. Yeah. That one was a little bit short, but still in a good position.
Team Jones still lying one. So if you're Team Jones, you're trying to figure out now how to score two?
That's correct. Trying to get two or possibly even three. You want to set up to try to protect, so there's only 3 rocks left. So you want to put this so that the Pinkney team can't come down and just freeze to them if they come too deep and take away their end from them. So you want to be just top 4 here.
Kim Kelly throwing 4 stones for Team Jones.
However, the draw is open on the other side for Team Pinkney to draw down to.
I'm sure Team Jones is aware of that and just trying to eliminate shots that we've been playing probably on one side. Maybe that's an unknown factor over on the other side.
Yeah. Trying to choose what ice to take.
Slides in there for second shot.
Colleen will probably try to hit this one out and get a little inside roll on it.
Double not really an option.
Looks like it might jam if she gets the double.
So if you're Colleen Pinkney, we'll have to make sure we use our last names here. You want to force Colleen Jones into taking one this end?
It's either force them to take one, or if she could make that nice hit and roll, she would love to steal again.
Yeah. Mary Driscoll throwing 4 stones here for Team Pinkney. She's 24 years of age, has curled for 12 years. She's a counselor with the Regional Residential Services Society and a student. She's the 2013 Nova Scotia champion and the 2014 silver medalist at the Nova Scotia Juniors. She's taken a few years off and has recently returned. She's studying Bachelor of Science in Health Promotional at Dalhousie University.
And we're going to get a first look at the other side of the sheet, see how the draw finishes on this side.
So a draw for 2 for Team Jones.
She needs pretty well a bite of the forefoot to get her 2.
So if you're the person throwing this, I imagine you're relying on your sweepers to perhaps know what that
That's correct. You're
path is
relying
gonna
on
do.
your sweepers to either not sweep it or make sure you get it there.
Yeah,
for
would
them.
they have an idea maybe what speed you might need to throw there?
Yes, yeah. They usually take some split times, but it's up to the sweepers to judge the rock and get it there. You want to make it a team shot, so you want to make sure you're not overthrowing it so that you can let your sweepers at least have a chance to make the shot.
So as we said, a slightly unknown path.
Hadn't been used yet, so it probably isn't warmed up, so not quite as quick yet as the other side.
So Colleen Jones will take 1 in the second. Moving into the third, Pinkney will have hammer. So as we go across the sheets here, team on sheet B, Team Brothers versus Team McAvoy. They blanked the first end, so still no score in that sheet. Over on sheet E, Team Breen versus McDermott. McDermott scored 1 in the first. So it's 1-0 for McDermott over Team Breen. And over on sheet D, as we said earlier, Arsenault has scored 4 in the first end early. We haven't seen the score posted yet for the second end. That'll probably be up shortly, and we'll update you as those become available. Dan and Pam have the call on sheet 4 over on our other web stream link here with Bell 5 TV1. So this is the first time we're seeing, I guess, sorry about that. Lost my train of thought. I have another coffee now. It's early morning draws. So Team Pinkney out with first stone now. Will this be a slightly different end, do you think, Nancy?
Well, Colleen Jones' team is throwing up a center guard because now they're in steal mode. They want to try and steal if they can because they're down 1 point, 2-1. So they're going to try to steal. So they're going to want as many rocks in play as possible.
So really using that free guard zone that we talked about earlier.
That's correct. Whereas Pinkney's going to want to try and keep it a little cleaner because she's up 1 and she has the hammer. So she wants to at least be able to make sure she's got a clear path to the 4-foot. To get her 1 if she needs to.
So taking a look at, we'll take a look at Team Jones this end. Let's see how the result of this stone looks like. We're going to be on the front here.
It's not bad. She did a little tick shot, which is a good plan B shot. So she's taken the Jones rock off the center line, which is good, so she can use her yellow rock if she needs to punch up anything that gets in behind. Whereas there's still 2 rocks out in front, which Jones is probably pretty happy about.
So taking a look at this Team Jones, Nancy Delahunt, of course, as we said, is throwing first stones, but is calling the game as the skip. 59 years of age, has curled since the age of 13. Loves to curl, play golf, tennis, and travel. She's a 5-time Nova Scotia provincial champion. She's a 5-time Scotties Canadian champion, 2-time world champion, 2016 Canadian senior champion, 2017 world senior champion. Has played in the Canada Cup once and Continental Cup twice. Quite a resume.
Yes, it is. Their whole team has quite their resume. They're all very, very decorated curlers.
So no stranger to the length of time and the dedication that it would take to be in an event like this.
No, they're still on the ice every single day, throwing rocks, just like all the young kids. Very dedicated.
So Team Jones lying 1 now. So we're looking just to come down and freeze here, are we, Nancy?
It looks like that, yes. The blue rock is just behind the tee line, so a freeze in here would be quite a nice shot. But it is starting to get a little cluttered for the Pinkney team out front.
Oh, just makes it by the front yellow.
It's finishing up nice. Blue shot is still shot, but the yellow is in a good position.
Yeah, I would think the potential to run that back onto the blue was quite high.
Yes, you don't need to get your shot rock in at the beginning of the ends. It's all what matters at the end, so you can get your last shot in to be counting. That's what the skip's last shot usually is doing. It's like a game of chess. You just got to keep everything set up, and all your little pawns are in place, and you keep moving them around until you get them into the right positions.
So chess on ice.
That's right.
So Mary Sue Radford throwing second stones for Team Jones, 55 years of age. She's curled also since the age of 13, originally in Oakville, Ontario. She is a CFO at Dalhousie Department of Medicine. She has Junior Provincial Canada Games and Mixed Provincial titles, Women's World Champion, as a 5th player in 2005, 2016 Canadian Senior Champion, and 2017 World Senior Champion, along with Nancy Delahunt on that team. 2 awesome children, she says, Katrina and Nicholas, and 1 new husband, it says, Terry. So a shout out to all the family and friends of Mary Sue.
Yes, I heard recently Mary Sue just got married this summer. Congratulations, Mary Sue and Terry.
So a guard placed by Team Jones, so Team Pinkney looking just to clean that up, eh?
Yeah, it's starting to get a little too cluttered for Colleen. When she's got the hammer, she wants to open things up, and because right now she doesn't have a path to the forefront. And Jones' team will probably keep putting up the guard, and Colleen will keep. Colleen Pinkney will try to keep, hopefully, attempting a double peel at some point to get rid of a couple of center guards.
Yeah, even though we had said the original tick shot was good because it opened up the center line, they are still quite close to that 4-foot area.
That's correct, yeah. And the blue one is protecting the shot rock as well.
If you could ever run that back and sit 2.
It would be nice, but it's a difficult shot. They'll probably just keep trying to keep it clean, to peel until Mary has to throw her last rocks. They'll be attempting a double here, I would assume.
Yeah, you don't play this game at this level expecting the other team to miss and help you out.
No. You just got to make your shots and see what happens.
So as we said, we would update you on sheet B. The second end was a blank, so it is still a score of 4-0 for Team Arsenault over Team Ladouceur. Did that work out well for them, or
just over curled a little bit? They still have the center guard, so now they'll still be putting up another guard. They were trying to double peel those, and just over curled for them at the end.
So Team Jones still sitting number 1, just behind the tee line. A little bit of change of direction here. Of course, Colleen Jones liking the outturn. I don't think that's a secret.
No, this might be an easier way to put the guard up as well, because they haven't seen the path from across the center line yet to see how much the rock is going to curl.
And I guess if if Kim Kelly has to draw down this path later on, it's a good opportunity to take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So Colleen Jones, as we said, lots of experience, 58 years of age, played in 21 Canadian Scott Tournaments of Heart, works at CBC for 31 years, covering the 9th Olympics in Korea this February. So that'll be exciting.
Yes, it's a great a great gig for her. It's a good way to get to the Olympics if you're not going to be curling at it.
First Canadian championship before it was the Scotties in 78-9. She played second for Penny LaRocque. Her first Scotties Canadian win was in 1982 with her sisters Monica Barb along with Kay Zink. She has 5 Canadian wins with Kim Kelly, Nancy Delahunt, who she's playing with this year, and of course Marianne Arsenault, who we see over on the other sheet. 2 women's titles, world's titles, 2 Canadian mixed titles, 1 Canadian senior title, as well as 1 world senior title. Of course, 2 sons, Zach and Luke. Luke, of course, playing in this event as well on the men's side. And a new daughter-in-law as of this summer. So lots of weddings out there this past year. So just exchanging those guards. Seems to be the story of the end.
Yeah. Jones is trying to protect her blue shot rock in the 4-foot to try to gain her steal of 1 this end to tie the game.
Not too much brushing here. They must be happy with the weight.
Mm-hmm. The ice has been very nice weight-wise this week. The draws are nice and quick, which is what the players like. Makes it easier to judge for the sweepers if the ice is fast.
So another guard, another attempt to remove it. I think we could just put a recording here on loop, and maybe we can go grab another cup of coffee here.
Sounds good.
So Bridget throwing third stones here for Team Pinkney, trying to remove this guard. Get a bonus, you might get that other guard off.
Either that or chip her yellow one on. Oh, nope.
Makes the contact with it just too much weight to get any benefit from that.
Yeah.
Shot stone is open though.
Another guard will be put up.
So Kim Kelly throwing 4 stones here for this Team Jones. She's 54 years of age. She's curled since the age of 8 and says, no wonder my knees are complaining. She's a drug evaluation pharmacist at the QE2 hospital. 9-time Nova Scotia provincial champion with Colleen Jones. 5-time Scotties national champion. 2003 Nova Scotia mixed and Canadian mixed champion. 2015 and 16 senior provincial champion. And 2017 world senior champion. She's played in the Canada Cup once and the Continental Cup twice, which we can see the Continental Cup is on now.
That's right. Yeah, that's an exciting event with where the Canadians and Americans team up together, which is a little bit different, and they play against the Europeans.
Fun. So note here, Kim Kelly's retiring in August and will be working on her golf game so she can beat Nancy Delahunt. So the competition is there both on and off the ice sometimes.
Yeah. There's a lot of curlers that golf as well. It seems to be comply with one another. Once curling finishes, you got to find something else to do, so it might as well be golf.
And the golf courses are opening as the ice is melting, right?
That's right.
So didn't quite get the guard here we wanted, so an opportunity perhaps for Colleen to get in there?
Yes. We haven't seen this in-out shot. If she's throwing that, maybe she's throwing the out turn. I'm not sure what she's throwing. She's got the broom in the middle of the rock, I think she may be throwing the out turn.
The way they're staggered, I would have probably thrown the in turn, but they're out there, I'm not. So.
I think it might be running a little straighter with the out turn, so that they're...
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good.
Going to be close. Good brushing here by...
No. It curled up on them.
Is that just perhaps a different throwing style with Mary than...
Could be, but it looked like she threw it fine. Maybe the ice, as the pebble's breaking down and we're starting to get a little more curl, that could be why.
Of course, we're up here and, of course, behind the players, so we don't actually see the release, so if she had to start it or set it in or anything. But as you said, most of these ladies have practiced quite hard and are very true on their delivery. So a chance here for Colleen perhaps to set herself up for a steal of 2.
It's still pretty open. There's going to be something that Colleen Pinkney's going to be able to hit. So if anything, it would be a steal of 1. Depending on, this one did not curl up.
So we see 1 curl and 1 not.
That's right.
A little bit of weight difference.
That one had quite a bit more weight than Mary's did. Colleen will now be trying to blank the end, I believe.
So 1 shot and the strategy completely changes.
Yeah. Or actually, Jones has the hammer, so Colleen will not be blanking here. She's going to try and hide behind one of those blue rocks.
So she wants to keep her rock in play.
Rock in play.
Yes. If she leaves it open a little bit, opportunity for Jones perhaps to
blank.
Try the blank, yeah.
How quickly an end changes. Just one slight under curl of a guard, and then it's all open.
A little discussion here. Mary just making sure she understands what Colleen's looking for. Nice view of those nice, beautiful slides those young girls have.
They still have their knees. There's a nice, fine shot.
Gets a little roll to center. So that'll be 1 for Team Pinkney, 1 yellow.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, 2.
the
Or, yeah,
blank.
1.
Okay. I thought they had the hammer.
I think maybe we were still in the second end. Maybe we do need to
They
put.
didn't put up the blank.
Maybe we do need to put on our repeat and go grab our coffee here. So Colleen Pinkney still taking 1 there in the
And the
third,
second end.
and Jones will
right.
now have hammer.
That's right. They didn't put up their score of 1 in the second end. Jones.
Yeah, I was the other evening. Luke Saunders, Colleen's son, was saying, you know, when you're out there, all 8 players know what the score is. They know what they're doing, and if we don't quite get to the scoreboard, don't worry, we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try to keep it steady here as we go forward. So as we mentioned the scoreboards, we're going to go across the sheets here. Over on sheet B, scores just going up there. They must have known we were talking about them. Team Brothers took 1 in the third. So it's now 2-3. McAvoy over Team Brothers.
2-1.
Oh, sorry, 2-1. I'm a baseball scoreboard. Keep me honest here, Nancy. So over on sheet D, Team Arsenault still at 4-0 over La Douceur. They've blanked ends 2 and 3, so good accomplishment there for Team La Douceur. Team Breen versus Team McDermott over on sheet E. Score there 2-1 for Team Breen as they play the 4th. All right, let's see if we can keep track of this end a little bit better. So, first rock goes in the circles or our house. I imagine that means are we going to ignore that? Are we playing it?
It looks like she got her broom in for a hit. So yes, they are. Nancy's throwing a hit.
So after an end with lots of rocks in play, you might want a little bit of room to breathe.
The rock that was thrown by the Pinkney team was a really good rock right in the 4-foot. So they didn't want to leave that there. They would have been trying to roll to the edge of the 12-foot so that Pinkney would have to go after it. Those rocks are sometimes a little bit more tricky to eliminate. But Nancy hit and rolled out. So Colleen will be throwing another rock up into the 4-foot, I believe.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're seeing some very different sweeping styles here. Pretty much the Colleen Pinkney, 2 sweepers down, away we go, and perhaps sometimes the Colleen Jones team, you see 1 sweeper or 2. I know there's been a lot of discussion and a lot of changes in the sweeping over the last couple seasons. What are your thoughts on that, Nancy?
Yeah, with the addition of the new brooms, which have quite a bit of a different fabric on them now, and they don't affect the ice as much. You used to be able to, with the older fabric, it seemed to break the pebble down a little more, and you could actually steer the rock, which was making a game more about how the sweepers could manipulate the rock rather than the thrower. So your throwing didn't have to be as accurate, but now it's these new brooms can't affect the rock as much. Although the teams still are doing a little bit of directional sweeping, which is trying to direct the rock. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's why you see just 1 sweeper sweeping, because they're trying to steer the rock one way or another.
So if I see 1 sweeper, it's probably more because they want to affect the line. When I see 2 sweepers, is that the same or a little bit different?
With 2 sweepers, you're just trying to drag the rock as far as you can. With 1 sweeper, yes, you're trying to affect the line, trying to keep it straight. 1 sweeper as well, if you want to try to make it curl a little more, the brush going away from the rock, depending on which side you're on, for which way you want to make it curl.
Interesting. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people behind the scenes trying that and practicing it. And how has your team adjusted with these changes?
My team, we are old.
Two sweepers down all the way.
Down all the way. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I see.
We haven't picked up on it much.
What's working for you? Well,
Yeah. The old school just works fine.
Yeah. We noticed. I see a lot of Jen Baxter on Team Arsenault. I see her a little bit, and she'll even almost wrap herself around the rock when she's sweeping. A little bit. I imagine that's a little bit from our mixed doubles experience. So Team Pinkney lying one.
It might be throwing up a corner guard here.
Is it high enough in the house now? Maybe you
it's
want
on
to
the
ignore
4 foot, so it looks like they're going to ignore it. Try to get something set up so they can get their 2 this end. We've got to get something going so they can try to get their 2 and tie the game.
It's a little bit different strategy. You'd think you'd want to put up a guard while you have the free guard zone and the other team can't remove it. They're waiting a little bit longer.
The first rock was right on the 4 foot, so if you put up the corner guard and they start putting up center guards, then you're going to fight to get that center guard off. So right now, with the rock just in the 8 foot, the opposition probably won't be guarding it. They'll just be getting rid of these corner guards. And Jones' team will hope that Colleen Pinkney knows is one of these corner guards, so they have one.
Almost a distraction. Here, come play with this for a while and forget about the circles.
That's right.
Jam potential on some of these?
Oh, almost.
Almost got her own in the back there. So
they'll just keep doing the same thing.
Trying to get the rocks down there so that they can't be used against them. Worked with the junior team, and I told them if you don't want the to score, then make sure their rocks are behind the back line.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah. I said if they're somewhere up front, even if they're not counting, then they can still be used against you somehow. So just make sure all the rocks are behind the back line.
The other way this time to avoid jamming it into the yellow rock and the 8 foot.
Yeah, last time was a little too close probably for their liking. Don't mind if your own color comes across, I guess. Bridget McPhail throwing third stones here for Colleen Pinkney.
Side curls a little more. Seems to be curling a little more inside out.
Still, the stones are lively enough. They'll get the good roll off there. I just heard Colleen say, let's switch it up. So trying the other side. Which I'm guessing would be Colleen's out turn.
Good idea to switch it up.
That's why we want to switch.
Although she's just as comfortable with her interns.
Yeah. She's known for her out turn. This is why Nancy and I are joking about this a little bit. So looking to put a corner guard. Actually, that looks like it actually was the intern.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah. Just maybe moving it over a little bit to cover the 4 foot more so than the 8 foot, do you think?
I guess just to change the shot. The 4 foot line seems to run a little bit more than away from it, so they're just trying to find a place where they think the other team might jam.
So Team Pinkney looking to remove this one again. Imagine this, and they'll save a little bit of time.
Yeah, they don't have to think much about these shots.
A little bit of that one sweeper.
Just trying to hold it straight.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that very much with this Pinkney team. Almost looks like the other sweeper just wants to walk down and watch.
Sometimes it's good too. It gives a break so you both don't get too tired.
Yeah, and as we said, this is a long event, so a lot of games, a lot of ends under their belts this week. So going after this stone now.
Yeah, it's getting a little late in the end to try to get that up, so they're gonna hopefully try to blank it and move on and try again next end.
So let's see Skip's rocks now. Or 4 stones, I guess. As neither skip that's calling the game. They both actually throw the lead stones. Some action on the other sheets we're picking up. Some do or die games out there, so the tensions and tempers within the ice shed get a little bit higher as we go through the week. So hitting a little flop for Team Pinkney to lie 1.
Yeah, it's pretty open end this game. Gives the skips a little bit of a break too, because it's sometimes can be very hard on the mind, doing a lot of thinking every end. It's nice to break and have an easy end where it doesn't require much thought.
Yeah, I imagine the mental stamina through 10 ends twice a day. Of course, today's a longer day. We have 4 draws today, 2 men's, 2 women. Yesterday, the women did have a little bit of break. They only had 1 game yesterday, but every other day, 2 games a day.
And sometimes some of the games blend into each other, and the ice is always different every game. There's always a little more curl, a little less curl. Speed sometimes can vary, so it can get a little tricky for the skip trying to remember all the spots on the ice.
Now, do any of the team members help out with that at all?
Yeah, they do a bit. The third is pretty integral in helping the skip remember the ice. All the players watch the rocks coming down, so they at this level they pretty well all know what the ice is doing. Once you get into like the 3rd and 4th end, you know pretty well what the ice is doing.
Yeah. I imagine if the skip was ever in doubt, they might say, Yeah,
do you remember what
you threw here?
Yeah. That's what they have to practice too. Each player usually throws different rocks in different spots in the practice, so you can find out what's going on before the game even starts on how the ice is running.
So Kim Kelly here with the final stone in the 4th end. We're chatting away and the rocks are just flying.
She just has to knock it, and a nose hit will do it.
Trying to blank here?
Yeah.
I think we're hitting. Oh. So she rolled on. That'll be forced to 1. There's some discussion here with the teams, so not sure. Definitely not the result you were hoping for, but you think there was maybe some miscommunication with the...
Yeah, it must have been, or maybe just not enough. I think she was just trying to do a nose hit, and it just didn't curl up for her.
So Team Jones will take 1 this time. Or did they stop it? Because it appears the...
No, I think the Jones took 1, so it'll be score 3-2 for Pinkney.
Looks like Pinkney's preparing to throw, so we're going to wait for confirmation on this. So.
Jones got 1.
Jones got 1, so it'll be a score of 3-2 for Team Pinkney going into the 5th, and Pinkney will have hammer. But I think we need to remind the team here. There we go, both teams. So.
Nancy, you got the point. You get to throw first.
Yes. All right, so as they get adjusted here, we'll go across the sheets and update you on some scores. So over on sheet B, we've got Brothers versus McAvoy. Right now, McAvoy leading 2-1. Over on sheet D, our match is it's no change again. So
score's not posted yet. They are in the
They are in the 5th, so we're still waiting on the 4th end score there. However, Ladusur did blank ends 2 and 3, so the score has remained 4-0 for Team Arsenault for a couple ends here. Sheet E, Team Breen versus Team McDermott. Team Breen scoring 2 over McDermott's 1. So we're still waiting on a few ends to be posted, and we'll keep you updated as the games progress here. So Team Jones using that free guard zone here.
Yep, they got up a nice center guard. They'll be going for their steal again.
So I guess there's a few things you could do with when the opposition puts up a free guard zone. You could go around, you could ignore it.
Yeah, usually either go around or you draw to the wing, but most of the time you go around. Sometimes if it's later on in the ends, you'll try and play the tick shot to get it off the center line.
Yeah, now, earlier in the broadcast you said, the center would tend to break down. Would you think maybe later ends you might see them play the wings a little bit more?
Just the skips, I think, would be moving out to the wings, but Colleen's shot just came up a little light there, so that's not what she wanted. She wouldn't want her rock to stop short of that because she just put up another center guard for them.
Yeah.
So now the Jones team is able to come around with a double guard out front.
So as we watch Mary Sue kind of straddle that rock.
Trying to make it curl, and it's not.
So again, and sometimes the jury's out on whether that technique is working.
Yeah,
or
with these brooms, as soon as you use them for one game, really the fabric is just able to rock. It can't affect the line of it anymore. Although a lot of these players do change their fabrics every game if they can, but the fabric, it unless you can get sponsored for changing your fabric, it can get very expensive. Because the fabrics for the brooms are $20 a broom to replace it. So you don't want to be $20 a game for a broom head is
so 4
expensive.
players, $20 a game.
That's
We're looking
right.
at 7 or 8 games this week. Yeah, that would add up pretty quick.
Unless you can somehow get sponsored by the company that makes the heads, and you're going to be using older broom heads, which aren't quite as effective, but more economical.
So they'll tap and they promote the yellow in.
That's not a bad shot. So now Colleen will have to deal with that yellow because they don't want Colleen one, so they'll try and get a little hit and roll, little flop in behind their center guard.
Mary Sue Radford here, throwing second stones for Team Pinkney, Team Jones. My Colleens get backwards all the time. Probably a good thing the Blue Jackets are throwing the blue rocks, or we'd be very confused.
That's right.
Doesn't take much on Friday morning without our cup of coffee. So hits and rolls away. Probably not a bad outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's got two rocks counting, so Colleen has to definitely deal with them.
Probably far enough apart that any type of a double play would be difficult.
Difficult, yeah. She'd probably try and hit and roll and sit on top of the other blue one. That would be a fine shot as well.
So Caitlin Vish ended on the sheet this morning. So yes, no, as we...
Yeah, as soon as they put the broom down, they backed it up. It's just off the rings. It's splittable, though, if they ever get a chance.
Splittable. Curling terminology, right?
Splittable rock means that if they throw a draw down and just tick the yellow rock, they'll be able to run it on as well as the shooter and count 2 if there was no other rocks in the house.
So I guess a splittable rock, the wiki-ticky shot.
Wiki-tickies are fun.
That usually means we're not quite sure what's going to happen.
Plan B.
More like a ping pong game. So Team Jones trying to come around this center line blue. It just gets by.
Nice shot. Very nice.
Very good team shot. Making sure the sweepers are aware of everything there. Colleen Pinkney just checking out all the angles here. So make sure she knows all her options, I guess.
Yeah, she'll take either double. She has, I think, called to try to do the double on the far rock on the in the 12 foot.
With the idea that opening this is important.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, because to make the double on the one in the 4 foot, she would have to almost leave her rock there. Which is
she maybe get that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good shot.
Yep.
Took it off the 4 foot, so it's opening it up for Mary on her last shots to at least have a little bit of a path.
Although the house is setting up to be very blue right now.
Which is just fine for Colleen Jones. Colleen Pinkney not too happy, although that was a fine shot that Caitlin just made.
Yeah. But of course, Colleen hammer and 2 of her stones out front that are promotable.
That's right. She's in the control zone with her rocks.
There's some going and stopping here. Usually means the stone is close. So were they trying to come around there? Or?
Yes, they were trying to come around, just a little bit light.
Blocks off that path, though, to the 4 foot for Pinkney.
Mm-hmm. Yes. There is still, she can still promote either one of her yellow rocks. There is a small hole between the 2 yellow. I'm going to just try and do a little hit and flop off this blue rock in the 8 foot.
I suppose as a skip, you like to see all those options available for you when it comes to be your turn there at the end.
Yeah, right now her 2 yellow rocks are technically blocking the Jones team from drawing in on the other side, so that's why she's them there for now. They'll be left there for Mary to use if she has to on her last shot.
Very close here.
This looks like it's going to be a fine shot.
And here, Colleen Pinkney yelling, Mary, Mary. So I guess that means Mary's the only sweeper for this one.
That's right. That's a great shot. Looks like there's just enough air to do a straight raise back for Colleen on this blue one.
So Colleen Jones throwing 3rd stones here for Team Jones.
This is looking pretty good. Oh, over curled. Wow. Lots of curl.
Ooh, gets it off the yellow.
Ricochet.
I guess that's
Very
a wiki
nice.
ticky.
That's a wiki ticky.
So opened up the 4 foot as well. So
Over curl, but that's when rocks are in play, anything can happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess sometimes as a skip, you have to kind of say, if I go this way, then there's a little bit more chance of something happening in my favor.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't her preferred shot because now it's not guarded, but it's better than missing, leaving the shot rock there. And she is shot, so that's good.
So I've heard the term a good miss.
It's a good miss.
Yeah. Some sports, there's no such thing as a good or a bad miss. It's just a miss. But
This one here looks good, fine as well. Another very nice roll. That one's buried and double guarded.
yes, I'm seeing some great shots now this end. Very hard to get at that one.
Yeah, they'll probably just have to try to freeze down to it. Area smaller for Mary when she goes to throw her last rock.
So as Kim Kelly comes down to get prepare. So we'll be shortly moving into a short break here after the 5th end. The teams all get a 5-minute break. So I guess we get a refill on our coffee. And we'll be back shortly after that break. So Kim Kelly just trying to draw down to the yellow stone. That's counting number 1 in the house. So 2 sweepers.
Starting to make its finish now.
Weight looks good. Light.
A little light, but Colleen Pinkney has to deal with it, has to do something with it. I'm not sure. She either needs to corner freeze it or she could get a nose. It's a very dangerous shot where it is right now. They're just going to leave it alone and let Kim try and raise it back. They're going to put another one in play. It's a dangerous option.
So with this one, would you want to place it perhaps maybe a little bit farther back in the house?
Probably just tee line.
I'm just thinking if you try to hit and roll, you'd want to roll to the 4-foot or something, perhaps.
So want to put it somewhere so that if blue rock gets raised onto the yellow in the 4-foot, that it might be still, this one might be still out counting it, but it's going a little farther over to the 8-foot, so. Still a good shot.
T-line, just like you asked for, Nancy.
Now Kim has to decide if she wants to hit her blue one back into the yellow or hit and roll off that.
Yeah, if you could hit and roll and sit back buried behind the
you don't want to give up 3.
Yeah, we were talking about the dangers of the 3-pointers in this level of curling. They're very difficult to recover from. So
yeah, you have to look at and see what your options are. It's still early. There's after this end, there's still 5 more to go. So if you can keep your opponent to 2, then you get 2 back. Then you're still right back in the game.
So Kim Kelly's final stone this end for Team Jones. Of course, Colleen Pinkney with the hammer. Trying to remove the yellow and
get a little bit of a roll. It's overcurled. Wow, there's a lot of movement inside out.
Yeah, I think we saw that a little bit earlier. It's see some of the men's teams are starting to play the wings a little more than I thought I would see.
She should be just drawing to get her extra point. A hit is a little bit dangerous. It's a good call.
Could hear Mary there. I like the draw. So
yeah, that's a skip for you. Skip if you have a choice for draw or hit. As draw is always the better option.
Because you're Skip, and we expect you to put it on the lid every time you need to, right?
That's right.
No pressure.
Just needs pretty well full 8-foot. Looks pretty good.
Line's great. We'll see it slide in here.
Nice shot.
Right up on the tee line. She'll enjoy weight in her pocket now as Team Pinkney picks up 2 as we head into the 5th end break. Team Jones will have the hammer when we come back. Quick update across the sheets here. Brothers and McAvoy. McAvoy just 3-2 after 4 ends. And over on sheet D, Ladouceur and Arsenault. Arsenault still up 4-0. And on sheet E, Breen and McDermott. McDermott just picked up 3 in the 4th end, making it 4-2. So we'll head to break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll bring you the rest of this game and see how it goes from there. Welcome back to the game here of the women's draw of the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Championships. I'm Karen Skiffington. I'm joined here with Nancy McConnery. We're just coming back from the fifth end break here. Team Jones, Colleen Jones versus Colleen Pinkney. We've seen a great battle of the Colleens here. We'll give you a quick update from the other sheets. A couple were posted as we were away. Over on sheet E, we have Team Breen playing Team McDermott. Of course, McDermott at 5-0, Team Breen at 2 wins and 3 losses. Score right now there, McDermott picked up 3 in the fourth end, so a 4-2 after the fourth end for McDermott. Sheet D, our other feature game. In the fifth end, Team Arsenault picked up 2, so the score now 6-0 Arsenault over La Douceur. Of course, Arsenault sitting at 4-1 in the standings, La Douceur at 0-5. Over on sheet B, Brothers and McAvoy. They're having a tight fifth end, lots of play over there. McAvoy picked up 1 in the fourth, score there 3-1 for Team McAvoy. Kind of a must-win for Brothers to stay out of any potential tiebreakers and keep herself in the playoffs. So as we come back to our sheet here, Nancy, second half of the game, expecting the same type of play. We see something different this second half.
With Colleen Pinkney up 3 over Colleen Jones, she will most likely be trying to keep everything clean. So if anything is in the house, she'll be hitting it. And once the free guard zone rocks have been thrown, she'll be trying to peel everything in sight.
So this is why we see the first stone come into the rings.
Yeah, and Jones' team will be putting up the quarter guards this time, because they want the guards out front to allow for potentials, to get a potential 2 with the guards out front.
Yeah, so Team Jones score 2, they're right back in this.
That's right.
Kim Kelly out there to give them a hand. Did we?
It's a little bit short. Long guards are not too good, although it's not, well, inside out it's curling a lot, so it's not a great benefit. She probably wanted it more on the Deloitte sign, about 4 feet out from the house.
Did we lose the touch perhaps over the break, or just?
They haven't done a lot of corner guards, so maybe the ice is running a little slower, running inside out. Colleen Pinkney will probably trying to freeze down to hers in here. Put 2 in the house. Put 2 in the house.
Of course, the blue stone in the free guard zone cannot be removed until after the fourth end of the fourth end of play here.
Fourth rock
of the fourth. Too many numbers for me to keep track of today.
Surprised at her throwing a long guard, being up 3, but maybe she just came up short. So Nancy Delahunt will probably try and freeze down to the rock that's in the 8-foot.
A little bit of it open so we can get in there.
As long as you can keep all the blue rocks in front of the yellow rocks, you'll be able to bang something up to get yours into play.
So again, we see that one sweeper. Make sure we're by the guard.
Very nice shot. Playing a short guard. Another option would be to corner freeze down to the blue one. So if they come a little heavy, that would be a plan B shot.
So of course there's a long guard yellow stone ahead of these, so the nose on the blue is not there right now. So we're literally down to sweeper here. One player must have
left the ice for a drink.
Got to stay hydrated. These are long games. Staggered so that you could double them off there, Nancy, or?
Yeah.
Or when you're down, would you rather just try to?
Well, I don't know, I guess with the yellow rock right in the 4-foot now, you've got to try to open it up a little bit so at least you have a shot to to get at it.
You have hammer too. So it probably doesn't hurt to have that at center open anyway.
Oh, this looks like a nice shot. Very nice. It's open now, and their rock is in good position.
And push the other Yellowstone out of the rings, but still back, but not really a factor into this end now. Opportunity here for Colleen to clear out some blue.
She's going to try to do a nice soft shot, tap it out, and roll it a little bit to the wing. Of course, wanting to avoid jamming it on her back yellow one.
So some of that directional sweeping we see just to get a little bit more finish off of it. Roll the blue out of play.
And it's spun back.
Oh, there must be a technical term, a curling term for that one.
Sneaky. A sneaky spin.
A sneaky spinner. So we'll have a brand new curling terminology dictionary for everybody by the end of this game.
Yes, I want a sneaky spin.
And I'm sure if you had microphones on the teams, they'd all have their own definitions of different shots and terminology.
I think Kim Kelly has the best names for all the little shots. She's got a lot of little terminology in her back pocket for some shots.
I suppose it helps to keep the team a little loose to keep you focused a little bit more on different things. Maybe reset you.
It's always good, even if you're down, to keep upbeat. Gotta always look positive out there.
So would teams maybe have code words, perhaps sometimes?
Yeah, one word just to get the person pumped back up again. Even if you miss a shot, you want to try and stay positive, and just so that you can make your next one.
Yeah, don't need them to feel any worse. They probably feel bad as it is.
That's right.
Never get in the hack planning to miss a shot. Bridget McPhail here. Third stones for Team Pinkney. Just looking to drop to that other blue.
Looks like they are
A little bit light, or we
I think they're there.
can't quite see where the other blue stone is. Got a wall in my way.
That's a great shot.
Very nice.
A little bit deep, but shot.
That looked almost like a wiki tiki combined with a spinny. So as we said, a very long day here, 4 draws. So if you're in the area, drop down to the Dartmouth Curling Club. You've got on ice seating or in the house. Well, not literally the house, the clubhouse. And 4 draws today. We have the women's on here now at 8. This is the 8 o'clock draw. Game 6. The men's game 6 draw will be at noon today, followed by another women's, the last round robin 4 o'clock this afternoon, and the men's final round robin tonight at 8 o'clock. So lots of curling today if you want to drop down to the Dartmouth Curling Club.
Very nice shot. Although I think the double may be there, but she may jam it on her own yellow in the 4-foot, so she needs to be very careful.
Yeah, of course, the stone in the 12-foot, the blue stone in the 12-foot, does have a long guard ahead of it. That long guard may be taken into account now.
She'll be trying to hit the second shot rock. And she'll try and just roll over in front of the other blue one.
If there's any danger of the jam, would you prefer to perhaps roll the other way?
If she just rolls to the other blue rock, she probably won't jam.
You almost have to have
She still has to be careful of it, though.
Have to have a physics degree to figure out all these angles, and I guess that's why we see a lot of our junior curlers advancing into engineering and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, Nancy.
Perfect shot. A lot of these angles are very similar to if you are looking at a pool table and lining up the pool balls to get them into the pockets. The angles are very similar to that. So for people, those of you who play pool out there, you can know how to line up angles in a curling game.
So if you're looking to shots, how to make those spinny winnies work for you,
Start playing pool.
Play pool. So some of those junior curlers watching us, we recommend pool. We'll have a bunch of pool sharks coming out now.
At least you'll be able to skip.
Yeah. A little bit of discussion on how we want to hit this one. So what's the concern here, Nancy?
The concern is if you hit the yellow rock and knock your blue one out, you're knocking out a potential counter. So you will need to come down almost to the nose of this yellow one in order to not knock your blue one out, because you want to try to get the counters, but they still have to deal with that rock that's on the forefoot on the button.
Yeah, and yellow does have that little biter over there, so you can't really clear everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
As long as their blue rocks stay ahead of that outside yellow counter. Get by this blue one first. Oh. No. Over curled. Definitely a lot more curl inside out.
Yes. It's the traditional sweeping that we saw years ago when two people got down and skip was yelling. It's very difficult now to see the skip yelling all that.
And only one sweeper.
And only one sweeper and the other one just looking at them.
It's like, why aren't you sweeping?
Yeah. Don't yell at me, sweep.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. It's hard for the second sweeper to just,
yeah.
But they're just doing what they're told.
So just looking to protect this number one stone?
Yes, I believe so. She probably wants to put it top 12 foot anyway, down to the skip's rocks. So
yeah, I imagine a good position going forward if she could force one here, get the hammer back.
Yeah, even a better position if she could steal one.
You're all about getting the points, eh?
Oh yeah. You can steal one, steal. That's what I always try to do. If you can steal, steal.
But in other broadcasts, each team has their own playing style. Each team has their own dynamics. So I guess Nancy will try to take points from you no matter where she can find them.
That's right. That rock didn't quite curl up enough for Mary. So now Colleen, Kim will try to tap this back and get a slight roll in behind the center guard.
So as we said, one shot, not quite one way or the other, and the end changes quickly.
Mm-hmm. It was just didn't quite have enough weight.
Sometimes frustrating because yourself as a skip, you imagine you have everything planned out. I want to do this, then this, then this, and she will do this, and then something like that would happen, and you've got to think on the fly real quick.
Yeah, at this level, it's you can't afford to miss too often. This one here looks like it's coming in nicely, but again, it's still open. Just not as much finish going outside in. So now Mary will have the same shot and try to get a little inside flop. She'll have a chance to redeem herself from leaving her guard leaving the rock a little bit open.
As we talked about communication earlier in the game, you noticed Kim Kelly talking to Nancy after that shot. I guess making sure she understands what happened where that rock didn't curl like they expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This rock's taken off. She must have been a little bit tight that she's wrecked on the front. Yes.
Opportunity here for Team Jones.
Oh my. Yes. Opportunity for Team Jones to get 3.
So just looking to make sure Kim and Nancy are on the same page where we're hitting this yellow stone.
It is slightly touching the blue one, so they do have to get it slightly on the outside so that it does not remove the blue one as well.
You've got your blue there. You can catch your shooter if you needed to.
They'll
Drag some weight off of it a little bit.
They'll just have down weight and just probably board weight.
That's deceiving when you see the broom. You don't know that would be down weight. We would expect it to be closer to normal.
Actually, she does look like she's got quite a bit of weight on that one. Trying to make it curl. This might be rolling out. She threw quite a bit more weight, I think, than she wanted to.
I guess the important part there, make sure she cleared the yellow out of there. So Team Jones will take 2 in the 6th end here. Pinkney with the hammer. So as we said, 2 points and the game changes quite quickly. So we're on the downhill slope of this game, 4 ends remaining. Will we see perhaps Jones get a little more?
Colleen Jones still needs to, with only 4 ends left, needs to steal. So she needs to be putting up the center guards and trying to steal. Whereas Colleen Pinkney will, she wants to either get 2 or blank. So she'll be playing, and depending on how the ends set up, will dictate whether she's hitting rocks out front or trying to get into the 4-foot.
An update on sheet E, Team Breen versus Team McDermott. Of course, a must-win pretty much for Team Breen as they sit at 2 and 3 in the standings. Team Breen scored 1 in the 5th, so the score there now 4-3 for Team McDermott, who McDermott is doing quite well this week. She's at 5-0, pretty much has guaranteed herself a spot in the playoffs. Either at worst a tiebreaker.
I don't even think she's in for tiebreaker.
You think she's in at number 1 for sure?
I believe so. Not number 1 for sure, no, but she's definitely in with 5-0. She could only have 2 losses, so she's definitely into the playoffs.
Okay. So as the games develop, we'll get a better understanding of that and closer to the end. Many different scenarios. Over on sheet D, board with 1 point in the 6th end, so the score there now 6-1. Great turnout this week for that team. They've, even though they're at 0-5, a lot of their games have been very close. Some great shot making from them.
It's a great experience for them.
Yeah. So as we said, the only junior team here. I believe the oldest player on that team is 18 or 18. Majority of them are still Canada Games eligible, so that means they are about 16 years of age.
Yeah, they'll be around for a long time. It's nice to see young girls out playing because we need a lot more young people into this sport.
Yeah, we noticed at the under-21 provincials, of course, that is a qualification process similar to this Scotties and Tankard that we're seeing here, where 8 teams advanced in the junior men and the junior women. That no qualifiers were needed for the women's. Only 6 teams were there for that. So if you're out there and you're thinking about learning to curl and you're young, go down and visit a club and these junior programs. You might see yourself at the Olympics someday.
That's right. It's a fun sport.
Never too late to start.
No, and it's a sport you can do from age 5 to age 90.
Yeah, there's been a lot of adaptations made in the sport throughout the years. We now see delivery sticks for people perhaps that maybe have had an injury to knees or hips and maybe want to still stay in the sport, so they can deliver with a stick. Wheelchair curling, they also deliver with the delivering stick as well. So we've got wheelchair curling, stick curling, and there's even national championships for all of these types of play.
Yeah, the stick curling has been a great advancement for the game of curling for the players that are unable to get down in the hack and deliver a stone because of knees and hips. It's just wonderful to be able to keep still playing the game.
So we expected some rocks in play. So lots of time there. We see the time clocks up on the right-hand side of the screen. Both teams began this game with 38 minutes of think time. So that means the clock will run. You'll count down your time as you're planning your shot and preparing to throw.
As soon as the rock crosses the tee line, when the thrower's throwing, that's when the thinking time stops. Begins when the opposition's rock stops and the house is clear, and the throwing team skip has control of the house. Then their thinking time starts.
2 timeouts as well, so I guess if you're running low on time or need a consult with your coach, you can take advantage of those.
2 90-second timeouts, yes. Which sometimes you need at the end if you're running short of time.
Doesn't appear to be the problem here, though.
No, they've got loads of time on the sheet.
So some reaction to some shots on the sheets behind us here. So if you're hearing some of our spectators in the background. So Caitlin here looking to remove the blue stones in the house. Almost seems like the yellow stones for Team Pinkney, they're getting a little bit more movement.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Not sure if that's the team's style of play and release. Maybe they've got a little bit less weight.
Could be a little less weight. Could be a little tight.
Or it could be a skip calling line a little tight. You never know. So
line's a little different too. They do have one left-handed player. The lines are usually just slightly different. So you have to call. The skip needs to put their broom in a slightly different place with respect to both the left and right-handed player. Just because you're coming in at a different angle to.
Team Jones looking here. Are they trying to draw down to themselves?
Yes, they are, and it's not curling again.
Yeah. Certainly must be frustrating for Skip to see curl and then not curl. And
that's right. Yeah. It's really nice if you can get 4 feet of curl, and I think they're probably only getting about 1.5 to 2 feet of curl coming in outside in. Going outside, it seems like they're getting maybe 3 feet. But inside, curling into the 4 foot, it can be frustrating, that you're not getting the full curl. Makes it a little tougher.
So I'm not sure if the microphones have picked out. There's some reaction to the crowd here on the McDermott-Breen game. A very close game, as we said. A do or die, I guess, for Team Breen sitting at 3 losses. Do you think with 3 losses, Nancy, they might make it in?
They need some help.
Yeah.
It is possible if they win their next 2, but they will be looking for some help from with a brother's loss and 2 losses from Arsenault. But Arsenault's on her way to win that game to go to 5-1. So they're looking like they're going to be into the playoff hunt as well, and. So if Brothers wins both their games, then all the teams right now with 3 losses will be out. Yeah. But McAvoy is another team at 2 and 3, so they're looking to give Brothers their 3rd loss.
Of course, the 2 teams that we're watching here today, Jones and Pinkney, both also at 2 losses. So, of course, one of these teams will remain there.
Yes, whichever team wins this game will remain in the hunt. Again, hoping for Brothers to lose one of their next 2 games, this game or the game at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so we can pretty much see McDermott and Arsenault in the playoffs, and then
we
got a big group at the bubble there.
Mm-hmm. Waiting for lose. But you can only deal with what you can deal with. So what you have to do is just take care of yourself and win your game, and then see what happens. You can't worry about what somebody else is going to do. So just win your game, and then hopefully everything comes together.
So you're not sitting home with all the teams on a board and lines here, lines there, trying to figure out all the possibilities.
Nope.
Enough to worry about with all these rocks in play.
That's right. Skip has enough to worry about. You just got to worry about your own game.
Yeah, so Team Jones looking well set up here. 1 on the button. As Bridget tries to remove it.
Looks like a good shot.
Any chance to roll over on top of there?
Yeah.
Yep.
She had to curl up a hair more, but still a nice shot.
Of course, Team Pinkney has those yellows in the 8-foot and 12-foot at the front. I'm sure she can make use of those if she need to.
Right now, Jones's second shot at the 8-foot.
Colleen Pinkney seems to plan her end, I guess, for lack of a better term, to make sure she's got lots of options.
Yeah. She always wants to try to keep that 4-foot open for Mary to do her last draw in. Mary seems to have draw weight this game, so as long as that 4-foot's open, they should be fine.
Yeah, we saw a very nice draw from Mary a few ends ago, right into the tee line.
Oh, that one's not curling up. Oh.
Nice roll behind the corner guard.
Colleen will probably try to open things up a little bit here. Tap something back.
Just move them around a bit.
Move them around because she's going to want to try to get at that back blue one, and that's shot rock right now.
Could you raise the one on the 8-foot back and leave yourself sitting there in the 12?
She may want to try to raise the, split those open. That would be a good call. She's calling a split on the front 12-foot rock into the other, her yellow rock in the 8-foot. Open it up and hopefully open up that back blue one.
Would you leave a shooter there, or would you?
Yeah, it's just a tap.
Yeah.
So, and your shooter would stay, but it wouldn't be a counter. I think there might only be 4 rocks left, is there? How many rocks are left? Yeah, it just skips rocks left. So she's got to make a play now, something. So either do a split or tap her yellow one back.
So I suppose, with the non-traditional lineup we have here where Mary doesn't call the game. Nope, timeout called. So we'll see if their alternate player will go down with them or if it's them that will stay there.
Looks like the alternate player's not moving. That's her right there.
So,
do they have a coach?
I didn't see one that listed, but
Colleen's a coach in herself.
yeah, kind of hard to coach yourself if you're looking for a second opinion, but but they could be just using the opportunity as well, as you said, to stop that clock and
Colleen Pinkney used to coach the girls at second and third. No, yes, at second and third position.
Caitlin and Bridget, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
To coach them, and then 2 members moved back to Saskatchewan, and Colleen and Mary joined the team.
So I imagine it was pretty easy fit for Colleen to slide in there after coaching them, and
That's right.
I imagine she probably played a game or 2 during the season with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a really nice fit. They all seem to get along very well.
So a lot of options here, I imagine. Or are they just trying to figure out where each rock is going to go?
Yeah, there's a few options that they're trying to decide which one is the best, which one will provide the best result in order for them to try to get 2.
So what we do here, we can open it up a little bit by splitting them.
Or tap one or the other yellow ones
Straight back?
Straight back.
Could you draw around?
I don't think you want to do that because you want to at least try to open it up. If you don't, if you just did the draw, you might just leave it hanging open. So I think that the tap is easier with it not curling as much.
And those stones are nice, nicely set up. They're at the front of the house, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to move them very far.
So I would think they would be trying to split. Oh, maybe not.
Well, it seems to be a split, although it looks like it's split off the center line stone and the shooter. Are they just trying to open up the button?
Yeah, they could be just trying to do that. That's always an option. Keep the 4-foot open so you can do your draw for your 1. Taking 1 here isn't too bad. Be up 2.
Of course, Nancy wants as many points as she can get.
Oh, they must still be at third rocks. Mary's not throwing.
This is probably the last third stone. And so as we were saying with the non-traditional lineup, I was going to ask, you know, with Mary perhaps throwing 4 stones and Colleen Pinkney calling the game, if you're yourself, you know exactly what you want to throw last stones. Colleen Pinkney not necessarily knowing what Mary wants to throw. Does that add a different dynamic to it?
It does make it a little more difficult, but for Mary, throwing the skips rocks and not having to skip, it allows her to, you know, not have to do the rest of the game, so she can just concentrate on her shots. Sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If you look at how well the Furby team worked, and they didn't have they were the first ones, I believe, to not have the traditional throwing skips rocks, and it worked really well for them. The only thing is the skip has to sweep, so they may be a little more tired for their shots on some of them.
Oh, that must be nice sometimes, I think, for Colleen Pinkney. I get in the hack, I get rid of my 2 rocks there, I'm done for the end,
right.
And I can just sit back and call the game. Yeah.
That's what I would like to do for my take a break from having to do all the thinking.
And of course, if you're doing all the calling but throwing first stone, you can always refer to them and say, what do you want to throw? Yeah. So if they're more comfortable throwing a draw versus a hit, it takes your decision making out of your hands.
I always like the draw game. I like to do a draw when I can.
So we have a game that just finished up on sheet D as we see this blue stone get drawn in here for number 1. Sheet D, Team Arsenault has defeated La Douceur. The final score there, 8-1. Arsenault will advance to 5-1. La Douceur, our standings will be 0-5. I think La Douceur goes on this afternoon to play against Team Jones. 0-6, sorry, thank you. And Arsenault, one more game left to secure that playoff spot.
Definitely guaranteed herself a playoff spot winning that game.
Yeah, so now it'll be whether it's the one. So 3 teams advanced, is that correct, Nancy?
3 teams, yes.
So she would be looking at possibly any one of those 3 spots based on what happens in the next draw.
The overall winner of the round robin gets a bye to the final, and 2nd and 3rd place teams play in the semifinal.
So right now, if everything went according to the way the stats are showing right now, we would probably see Kirsten McDermott in the first place at no losses, depending, of course, on what happens coming up in the next couple draws.
Marianne 2nd and Brothers 3rd. That's how the standings. If everybody won their games, if Brothers wins their game tonight and this afternoon, and
Arsenault wins.
Arsenault and McDermott win their games.
Yeah. Again, those teams with 3 losses, hoping that's not the case, and stay in that bubble for potentially a playoff spot.
And with Green leading McDermott now 5-4, she's keeping her playoff spots alive, and that could drop McDermott down and to 5-1, and being tied with Arsenault. Well, I'm not sure who has beaten who in the round robin, but whoever has beaten who would be given the bye to the final. If there is a tie, you first go to who has beaten who.
Arsenault lost earlier this week to McDermott, so if McDermott and Arsenault were tied, McDermott would have the advantage over.
Correct.
Yeah. Team Jones just gets by that top one. So lots of rocks in play here, Nancy.
Yeah, but Jones is shot rock, but
it is open,
Mary needs a nose hit for 3, which would break the game wide open.
Difficult to recover from this late in the game?
Yeah, but Colleen Jones is a fighter, and I've seen her plug back and win even when she's down 4-5.
So pull up your socks and
that's right.
Get it done,
you
right?
Cannot let your guard down. This looks like it's coming in nice. She's got this nose hit. Yeah, nice shot. I think. I think it still might be 3.
We'll double check that. So Pinkney definitely getting a couple here.
Yep, give him 3.
So 3 yellow. And Jones will get the hammer into the 8th.
3 yellow puts it 8-4. Colleen Pinkney over Jones. Colleen has a lot of work to do. Colleen Jones to fight her way back into this game.
So I imagine you're trying to score as many points this time with hammer as possible to try to catch up that, but at least you want to at least get your 2, right?
Right. So if you get 2, give 1 to Colleen and then get your 2, then you got to tie. Nope. Then you'd be down 1 with without the hammer coming home. So you've got to try to get 3.
Yeah.
So you need your corner guards up.
So definitely take advantage of the free guard zone.
3 ends left.
So we talked about that Breen and McDermott game going on over on sheet E. Right now, Breen ahead 5-4 over Team McDermott, and that's the score after 6 ends. And over on sheet B, we talked about Brothers needing to win here to maintain her spot. Playing against Team McAvoy, she just got the lead now with a score of 3 in the 6th. So now 5-3 Team Brothers over on sheet B. So a few games turning around, and as we said, Team Arsenault over on sheet D just won against Team La Douceur. Final score there 8-1. So as you said, Nancy, we've seen some guards here.
It's like a corner guard's going up, yes.
How do you feel about throwing rocks through, Nancy?
I don't like throwing them through this early. Is that they just had the call to throw it through? Yeah, I prefer to just put it on the 4-foot. I know they want to leave everything open so that you can peel easier, but you put one on the 4-foot, and if draw comes up short or heavy, then you just peel it the next shot because you're going to be throwing it through anyway. But if you can get one right on the button, then the other team has to deal with it. I can see in the 9th end maybe throwing it through. That's what I would do. But
9th or 10th, yeah.
But I wouldn't be throwing through this early.
So if the end shapes up as we plan, Team Jones will keep putting these corner guards, and I'm sure Team Pinkney will want to remove them.
Mm-hmm. But now if she had one on the 4-foot right now, then she could have either guarded it or froze to it. Now she's got to just start peeling.
So as we said, each team has their own strategy plan for whether you need to score or not, and
they're just going to try to keep it clean. Yeah. It all depends too on how well your team can peel. If your team peels well, then this is a good way to go.
There's Caitlin, our left-handed player this game.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Not what we were hoping for.
It was what Jones was hoping for.
As we said, sometimes you gotta hope for the other team to change their style. So as we said in the standings, we were, win your game and see what happens. But
so now the game is on. It's set up now for them to get a possible 3. 2, pretty good. 2, it's pretty good chance for them to get 2 for sure. With 2 corner.
Mary Sue Radford throwing second stones for Team Jones.
And with the amount of curl you're getting inside out, you're going to be able to bury these ones nice behind the corner rocks.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of play inside out, so certainly might be a challenge for the teams. So which one do you remove?
Well, it's double guarded on the one side, so you might just want to, do that one and leave the double guards on. It's hard to get rid of them both because you don't want to leave corners on both sides. Mm-hmm. So get rid of the one side anyway.
Are they lined up that you could possibly get 2 of them at one time, or?
I don't think they're high enough. This is a nice one. Just got this one.
Caitlin Fish looking to peel that out. So even though this 2 guards on this side was through, coming up just a little too much than we expected, and racking on the front one and splitting up, they're staggered nicely to come through.
Yeah, they'll still try and get around them. They're still guards, so they're still usable.
So Kim and Colleen with the scrubbing. It's funny how it's changed from sweeping to brushing and now scrubbing over the years. Through the board.
Very nice shot.
Gets a little bit of a finish at the end. You hear Colleen, great shot.
You'll try and do the double, or just try and get rid of one of them, I guess.
So this is more of a danger to her. Discussion of the weight so that we can make sure we get the right spot. So Bridget here. As we throw mates stones in the 8th. Should get the hit. And just rolls across the other one.
She's almost lucky she didn't just touch it, because she would have tapped it closer to the rings and possibly in.
Make it one of those splittable rocks. So just going around the guard here.
Yes, it looks that way. Or she may be trying to split herself.
So that would be drawn the other way.
No, splitting
The guards.
the center line guard on.
At what point would it be too far for that? Probably just above that logo.
Yeah.
Or would it depend where it is?
Could be. Yeah. If it was on center line, it could be further out, because then you have more room to tack it around to.
So you could dot the I, but any further than that.
But they're just drawing around it.
First, we're on that center line. Didn't get much movement.
No. Just going to try to play the double. Get rid of the guard.
I suppose the danger here is leaving that front stone, so making sure you clear that, and if you take the back one, it's a bonus.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely don't want to leave your guard out front. So you want to hit it at an angle somewhere. Looks like they're hitting it. Oh,
Mary coming down
Mary
to take
does.
a look.
Just to make sure she knows the right angle she has to hit it at, where she has to hit it exactly.
Yeah, well, there's 2 stones in the house, so I guess depending on which way you throw it, you could catch either one, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you try to defend, you get yourself in trouble. So the best way is to try to eliminate some rocks. So you want to get rid of that front one for sure.
I think Mary's thinking perhaps let's just hit one that's in the rings.
Mm-hmm. But Colleen has that front one to hit straight back, and if she hits it straight back, she's guarded as well.
Yeah.
So it could be a potential 3 if they don't get rid of that front one.
As you said, but that flash in the earlier with Caitlin's first rock, it kind of set them up for 3 by keeping the 2 corner guards. So. Seeing if we can pick up some of the conversation there between Mary and Colleen. So a little bit about whether or not it's just a peel.
It'd be very nice if they could get the double.
You take
But
that
now it
3-point
looks-
option away, right?
But now it looks like they might be trying to.
I suppose the other thing is Mary coming down to talk to Colleen. This is Bridget's last rock, so it's going to set her up for her rocks coming forward, eh?
That's right.
So
I think the shot is the peel. I think they probably decide on that. Oh, no, they haven't decided yet.
using a little bit of time here, but appears that they still have quite a bit. Call a timeout.
Timeout, yeah. This is their second timeout.
Although key area here, because if Jones were to score 3, could be a turning point for them.
They're back in the game.
Yeah. I mean, we need to tell them to move about 3 feet closer to the mic here so we can pick it up.
That's right. Over on sheet E, McDermott scored 1 in the 5th to tie the game. So the game is tied at 5-all.
So nail biter on that sheet as Team Breeden tries to stay in the hunt for a playoff position. Of course, in the Brothers McAvoy game over on sheet B, McAvoy scored 1 in the 7th. Score there now 5-4 for Brothers. What are we doing here?
They've decided on the peel, I believe.
The danger being if she got another one around there, I guess there's not really much.
Yeah. This is a good. And try and make the double on the far one on the outside, I guess. With that ice, it looks like they're
try to catch it on the way out.
Yeah. And they're coming that outside turn, and if it doesn't curl up for them, she has the option to get the back one.
And of course, the straight peel is also a good result as well.
That's right.
Oh, she
just missed it.
So close. That has opened up all those shots in the house.
Yeah. And those two, one on the 4-foot and one in the 8, they are in a position for a double to be made as well.
So where do you put this stone?
Looks like she might be putting it on the 8-foot on the other side around the tee line. She wants to put it even with her.
Even with the top 4-foot rock?
Even with the top 4-foot rock.
So I imagine that's difficult to try to figure out where you want to put a stone when they're all open like that.
Yeah, you want to try to set it up so you're not setting up a double.
She's scrubbing hard.
Needs to be in the rings, though.
Need to at least bite.
Oh, and they got her there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that double is there. It's still difficult, but you need to up your weight just a little bit more than they've been throwing.
So skips rocks here in the 8th. Looking to try and double these Jones stones out here. Mary Driscoll throwing 4 stones for Team Pinkney.
Doesn't look like a lot of weight for a double. She might just hit and flop on top of the other one. Oh, no, got it. Oh, she just didn't have enough weight.
Right angles.
If you're trying to do doubles, you gotta throw a little bit more weight than.
Do you think that the up weight and the straightness of the ice, maybe that might have been a concern?
Yeah, but you just take a little less ice. She did throw it well. She just didn't have enough weight. That's all. It's beautiful, beautiful shot. But
you can see it hanging on there. She only needed 3 more inches.
That's right.
So it appears that is this a hit or a draw here, Nancy?
I would assume it's a hit, and probably want to get a nose.
So this is a situation you probably want to keep your weight down. So if you're not quite on nose or anything, you want to make sure you stay around?
Yes. Yeah, you want to stay around for sure. Keep your 3 alive.
Got them well spread out here.
Mm-hmm. So on Mary's last shot, I'd be tempted to do a little hit and roll behind the blue one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to ask if you'd want to be covered up a little bit, try to make it a little more difficult for them. Oh, they would if they did have the run back, though, they wouldn't be because that stone is just biting.
That's right. I mean, if you try the freeze down to it, yeah, that would eliminate it. But if you bump off at all, they could still
squeeze you out even for 4 then.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're calling the hit and
Key here, make sure you remove the blue.
Or any of the blues.
Remove a blue stone, please. Last rock for Team Pinkney. Very quite sure you want to be off.
Oh, very nice shot. A little more roll would have been great. Still a very nice shot.
So when you're yelling at the sweepers to sweep, are you trying to intimidate them or motivate them?
I think they were yelling at them to stop. Yeah.
Sometimes wonder if I'm getting in trouble or are you just trying to help?
She needs to come down, and she can't wreck on her own blue one. So it was a very nice shot. There's a chance that there's a chance to get 3, but there's also a chance to steal 1 here with that nice shot.
So I imagine this will be a perhaps backline to hack type weight shot.
Probably at least hack so that you can have your counters. You want to be able to push it all the way through. Just has to be just through though. But you want your biters on the 12-foot to count.
So Team Jones, Kim Kelly's last stone here in the 8th end, looking to remove the yellow of Team Pinkney and score 3.
Have to go hard.
Well, that looks like it took off on them.
Yeah. Oh,
Can we roll over for shot?
Looks like she did. Yeah. Okay.
So unfortunate
So very nice shot by Mary McKetton Driscoll to them from getting a 3-ender on them.
So Team Jones will pick up 1, and Team Pinkney will advance into the 9th end now with the hammer. So if you're Team Pinkney, I think you really want to blank this end and have the hammer in the last end.
That would be really nice, although even taking 1 and being up 4 coming home is just fine.
Just sweet. As Nancy says, take the points. I now know Nancy's strategy. So
yeah, I think I'd rather be up 3 or up 4 without than up 3 with.
Just gives you that extra room, right?
That's right.
You know. Team Jones, I imagine, will take use of the free guard zone this end.
They have to. They'll want rocks out front. And they won't care where Colleen puts her rocks. They'll just keep putting center line guards up and then try to get around them. They're hammers, so Jones has the hammer, so they'll be putting up the corner guards, yes, not center line guards.
Of course, Nancy Delahunt calls the game. She even calls it from the hack, so just trying to change up, I guess, the position of this front stone.
Yeah, they want a corner guard because now they've got the hammers. Or do they? Wait a minute.
Oh,
No, 7, 1.
Yeah,
okay,
Pinkney has the hammer.
Yeah, Pinkney has the hammer. I don't know how to curl anymore.
But we're taking points with you. So I guess, like you said, the center line might be getting a little worn out. We've been playing down center all game, maybe perhaps getting movement a little bit off center.
Yeah, it might be fudging up a bit.
So like this, Team Pinkney calling it in the rings this end.
Yes. They want they'll have their saver over on the wing. Because as I said, is not a bad thing.
Anytime you can take points, I guess, would work well.
If it was a little closer, then I'd say, yeah, try to blanket. But if you're going to take 1 to go up 4 points, then that's prime.
Very nice weight here. We'll polish at the end.
Perfect spot. Not really in the way for when they try to peel any rocks out front.
Yeah. And it's so far back, even if it did jam or something, there's plenty of room to outscore.
That's right, yes. Key again is, as I said, trying to keep the forefoot open. So your skip has a shot for a point, if need be.
So I guess if you're a skip, you like to throw guards. So Nancy's just thrown 2 perfect guards.
That's right.
Although not in the order that we traditionally see.
I guess they're just trying to switch it up, not have them on center line. Not sure.
Well, and we did notice, like you said, it's not curling up to center, so trying to get around guard might be a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So we hear some intensity from sheet E. Again, a very close game over there as they're tied 5-5 after 7 ends. Kind of a must-win for Team Breen as they try to stay in the hunt.
Looks like one has a draw for 2 to go up 7-5. We'll keep you updated on whether she makes her attempt or not. She's been curling really well this week. Teresa Breen has saved the team a lot of times.
Yeah, of course, throwing skip as they have replaced a player. Danielle Hilliard dedicating some more time to her studies and whatnot. So new position, player in at 3rd position. Teresa last year threw 3rd stones and called the game. So and slightly different lineup for her.
She's filling in just fine at skip. She's doing awesome.
Certainly not a position she's afraid of.
No. Very comfortable with.
Yeah. Lots of experience. She comes to us from Ontario curling background.
Playing originally with Anne Merklinger, who is well known in the curling field.
Nice delicate shot here. So is it okay that we didn't remove that yellow stone from the back?
They're trying to leave rocks in play just for jamming possibilities.
Build up a little security.
That's right. Those rocks aren't really hurting Team Jones in the back. They're already down, so they need to just try and get something going.
So now we start to see the peels.
Yeah.
As Bridget goes hard, Mary will try to roll it over. So a little discussion between Colleen and Nancy. Of course, Colleen having skipped this team for quite a while. Probably sometimes has her own idea of where things need to line up each end.
Yeah, she's very, she knows the game very well.
Certainly somebody I'd want on my team
That's right.
when it came down to strategy discussions.
Definitely knows what she's doing.
So, of course, Team Jones, plenty of time on their clock. Team Pinkney had a lot of discussions last end, so that used up a little bit, but appear to be running just about where we need to be. Okay. So the decision is the centerline guard. Do we like this call?
Yes. She's got to get something going so that she can hide behind something, and she knows that Colleen's probably really going to peel it, so she'll hope for a nose hit. So the center line guard would stay there.
Or potentially maybe a jam on one of those back ones. Or
That's right. Oh, very nice shot.
So if you were Colleen Pinkney, would you ever decide maybe to ignore that and go after the blue one in the rings?
No, you want to leave it open. Like you don't want those guys stealing on you, because then you're down to only up 2. But I mean you have the hammer, so it's a huge issue if Jones steals on Pinkney. But you'd definitely be a lot more comfortable if you got your point. So they just keep it clean and leave the forefoot open so that Mary can draw in the end. on her last shot. And who knows, they may even be able to do a hit for a multiple points and end the game.
Certainly with a 2-game day today, you'd want to be off early and get rested up.
That's right. I would think that if Colleen Pinkney gets any more than 1 point, more points, that there would be handshakes. But that's not an option yet. Jones is a little bit in the driver's seat right now for this end.
So imagine there's a point and an end where you place guards, you place guards, you place guards, but then you got to get them in the circles.
That's right. Yeah.
So at what point would you typically see that? Rocks?
Yeah, well, the third's last rock, you'd still want to put a guard.
And then skips rocks.
And then skips rocks. You'd want to come in to make sure you're not going to, because if they give up any more than one, they won't have a chance to get back. There is a possibility to get 4, but tough.
Yeah. This caliber, you're not seeing a lot of misses. No. Everybody's executing well.
Yeah, at this caliber, you've got to expect that everyone's going to make their shots.
So we, Team Breen and Team McDermott over in Sheet E, we said they were drawing for 2. They were successful. So Breen now ahead 7-5 as they play the 9th.
Oops.
So
that's the miss that Jones was looking for.
Yeah, Bridget not quite clearing it. Does move it off center line, but not really clear of that 4. So.
But they still have something to draw to, which will make Mary's draw to the button tougher.
Yeah, we did see Mary make a nice draw to the tee line earlier in the game, so hopefully she still has that weight in her pocket if she needs it.
And as long as the 4-foot line is not pudgy.
Over on Sheet B, we have Brothers versus Team McAvoy. Must-win scenario for McAvoy if they want to stay in the hunt. Team Brothers here looking also to win and make sure they guarantee themselves a playoff spot. Tie game after 8 ends, 5 apiece as they play the 9th. Nice draw. Looks like they might have to go back a little farther to get buried here.
Very nice shot. Perfect position, just in front of the tee line. And 3/4 buried.
So is the guard still the danger here, Nancy? Would you run the guard or?
Well, it's getting a little late. I guess it's still open. She could do a tap back and
flop over behind on the other side.
Flop over behind. They could get a better guard if they remove that one, but this one here, you play it tight, and if you get the guard, then that's fine as well.
So of course, all that you heard is Team Breen over there just made a nice run back to sit 3. As we said, a must-win for them. We were talking earlier in the week. We said we'll notice the intensity, so therefore the voices will be a little bit louder as the week goes on. So we're certainly seeing that here today.
We are.
So we do, as we said earlier in the broadcast, 4 teams sitting at 3 losses. Team Breen, Team Jones, Team McAvoy, Team Pinkney, all looking to stay alive today. One more game left after this to finalize the round robin. 8 teams in this field, 8 women's teams. So 3 will qualify for playoffs. So definitely some anxiety here today.
Definitely. So Jones will again be trying to the center guard. To try to lock one in there for her steal. To bring the game a little bit closer.
Staying out there.
Yeah, this one looks like it's hanging.
Perhaps a little heavy. Might be going to that back yellow.
Yeah. Looks like it might have been a little heavy. It's going to be wide open. Very nice weight.
Yeah.
Perfect weight. Just didn't finish for her.
Yeah, not seeing that movement on that center line.
No. It's unfortunate. It's a nice curling shots, but the rocks just aren't cooperating.
So, Pinkney here need to be careful as she avoid a jam here, right?
Yes.
It's quite a big hole for her to squirt it through, but there is that danger.
The jam, she'd be still sitting her shot, but she'll. What's this one doing? Oh, she's by. She's going to have a great shot. Yeah.
She can get to
Got
the
a great
inside.
one. Yeah. Oh, very nice.
Avoids the jam.
Very nice shot.
Moved herself a little bit more behind that blue than Kim Kelly's stone was.
So she's sitting shot. Kim will have to stick around to be second shot, otherwise Mary will have a hit on blue in the 8-foot for 2.
Well, let's do a head count here. So yellow, Team Pinkney sitting 1 in the 4-foot. Team Jones sitting number 2 in the 8-foot. And then we've got a whole bunch hanging around at the back.
Yeah.
So
looks like yellow is 3rd, then blue 4th, and then yellow 5th and 6th.
Around the rings we go. Sometimes that's, even though there's a lot of rocks in play, it just comes down to 1 or 2 stones. So see if they come into play later on or not. Kim Kelly watching that. Perhaps leaning, hoping it'll curl.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes we think we can lean and help the curl.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice shot. Yeah.
Avoids the jam at the back and rolls half buried.
She'll probably play this one. Hit and flop, yeah.
I heard, do you like the draw? I think that's our sheet. Would you not save that for your last rock?
Is this not the last?
Are we on final stone?
I think this is the final stone. You're throwing down the fudge, so this way if you get the nose, you're at least eliminating and they're only getting 1.
Yes, it is final stone here in end number 9. Mary Driscoll throwing for Team Pinkney. Looking to get just to the inside so she can roll in for shot.
Looks good.
Yes, no, yes, no.
Yeah, they got it. Yep. Very nice shot.
And rolls into the 4-foot to take her 1. So Team Pinkney scores 1 in the 9th. Handshake. So Team Pinkney will advance to 3 and 3.
Keeping her hopes alive.
Yeah, so now she has to win again this afternoon and hope for some other changes in the standings to bring herself into it.
The only hope she has is for Brothers to lose one of her next game.
Okay. So as we wrap up here, we'll do a quick rundown on the sheets. On sheet B, Brothers and McAvoy still tied 5-5 after 8. Team Breen versus Team McDermott. Breen up 2 over McDermott. So if you want to keep tabs with those games, visit the NS Curl live scoreboard. I want to thank you for tuning in with us this morning. From myself, Karen Skiffington, Nancy McConnery, our producer from Bell TV1, Chuck Calder. Thank you. Have a great day, and we'll see you at noon.